so I always like kind of pay attention and just eavesdrop a little bit and just like see how people interact. And
Observe.
I remember someone was like trying to get you to wear something stupid, like more stupid than usual, and it just wasn't flattering for you, and you kind of like told them no. Like you're just like, I'm not wearing that. Something like that. You were, like the three mirrors that you would stand on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were up there, and I remember you like just saying like, I'm not doing that, or I want to wear something else. And I was like, you don't see that very often. And the makeup artist was like, she won't last long with that attitude. And I was just like, okay, we'll see. And because that's very much my personality. And I don't know if you've heard it, but like I have the reputation of being like really difficult to work with and diva. Very like you, Asa, and like 2 other people have like told me that, or like admitted that you've heard it. And everyone's like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's like, I know that this is a rumor.
Yeah.
And it's because you say no to certain things. So I like really respected that.
It's really like, it's really gross to me to see women, like, we're in this industry, we are doing a vulnerable thing, you know what I mean? We're already very vulnerable. You're gonna tell me that I'm gonna have to look like this? No. And then because I don't want to do that and I don't want to look that way, I don't feel comfortable wearing that, girls are like, oh, I'm better, I'm gonna talk shit. It's like, come on. You know, it's so gross to me. Like, I got your back, you know? It's so ridiculous.
And it's out there forever too, right? So it's kind of important. You want to feel good about the body of work that you leave behind, especially when you decide to leave mainstream.
And I didn't even think of that at the time. I had no idea of anything at the time. Like, all of what I'm thinking right now is from the years of doing this. Yeah. So it's like, I probably didn't want to wear it because it was just ugly or something. And I don't know. Now it's like, people want you to do a certain act. Yeah. And it's like, if you don't take 3 and, you know, then you're a diva.
Then you're not a serious performer. Okay. You're clearly in the wrong line of work because you have limits, or you're remaining true to yourself. That was the thing. So for me, I always kind of did what I call pretty porn. Like, I never did anything too classy. Extreme. Yeah. It was just, that's just how I like to engage in sexuality in my real life. I never wanted to do anything that I wasn't actually interested in, because I've seen that effect on other girls, and I'm sure you have as well. So that was like that was a very important principle when I was shooting. And then you would have these other girls that do not like a lot of the stuff they're doing. I'm sorry, like, you can have your kinks. I don't judge that at all. Like, whatever you're actually into, but certain things are borderlining on like being unsafe, but they're doing it just for like that title of most extreme, and then they look down on people that aren't doing that. And I just think it sets a bad precedent for new girls coming in. It does.
It's bad for the new girls because they feel like they're gonna have to do all that. It's straight up circus acts. Like, it's, and then the consumers are obviously wanting more and more and more, and think that people actually, like, most people actually do this in their bedrooms. Like, they actually take porn as an educational thing. Right. It's so weird to me. But I mean, I did porn, so it's different.
Do you think that, so when it comes to, I guess, kids and younger people watching porn, do you think that part of that is a paywall problem, or do you think part of it is like parents not talking about sex at the proper time with their kids, so then they're left to figure it out on their own, or is it a combination of things?
I would probably say lack of talking, because my parents didn't tell me anything about sex. I found out in 3rd grade from some guy, and then boy, not guy. And then I don't know, I started like looking into like books, not porn, but like educational stuff. Yeah. And then I found something on my brother's computer when I was like 14, and I was like,
what's that?
Okay. Yeah, so that's how I discovered it. But I feel like if you talk to your kids and like let them know and be like, hey, you know, hitting people in porn is actually not cool, it's not okay, and it's not a thing. You know what I mean? Parents need to like educate them on the actual biological part of it, and then talk to them on like, I don't know, people, how weird they can be, and also like, I don't know, just Do you know what I mean?
Right. Like everyone can have a kink, but you have to make sure that it's consensual. And like this isn't typical sex. Like,
Yeah.
I think with film, because obviously it's entertainment, you have to do something that's like a little bit of that shock value. And like if people were to record me with my husband, it'd be very boring. Like no one has sex like that. Everyone has sex like that, right? It just doesn't sell. So you have to kind of explain to them this is bumped up for entertainment. And I think a lot of people just don't want to even mention porn to their high school kids or whatever. Just pretend it doesn't exist. And unfortunately, with so much stuff being free, you kind of have to because it's just readily available.
Yeah. That, I mean, it never used to get to me, but like these days when I'm making my own content, tube sites and like the thought of having my own kids and like just tube sites and the stuff on like, I just can't. I don't. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
It's just like. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, so I was going to say I'm really like selective as to who I have on, especially when it comes to industry people. And for a while, I didn't have anybody on because I didn't want to be put in a box of like a porn podcast because it's not what it is. I like want to have people on that have interesting stories. And when I do have porn girls on or porn guys on, I want to show like the depth of their humanity, right? Like a lot of the times we get judged so critically for this decision that we've made and you don't know that person or their backstory. Yes, there are plenty of dumb bimbos in the industry, right? That exists. But there's also some really intelligent people, some really cool creative people. And they're not, I think it's reckless to kind of throw us all in the same bucket and it's not fair. So I want to have people on that I respect and that I think are like doing some good shit, right? Like doing something more than just trying to make money. So when I said like you're my most requested person, I was actually really excited because you use your platforms for things other than just, hey, check out my website or hey, follow my OnlyFans, whatever it, just turn and burn customers. You're like, these are important topics I want to talk about. And what really caught my eye is you were doing a lot of advocacy for child trafficking. And at the same time, I had the CEO of the Child Rescue Coalition come on, and then one of our really good friends. I know, it was really cool.
So cool.
It was really cool.
I donated so much money to them.
They're an amazing organization.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's one of the first episodes I did.
Cool.
And then one of our really good friends runs Operation Rescue Children. So he works with Underground Railroad and Tony Robbins and he basically trains these really badass men and women to go save these kids, and he's done the missions. And
that just like gave me chills.
Yeah, it's really, really important work. So at the same time that I was doing a lot of stuff with them and having these conversations and donating and whatever, you were doing this, and I was like, that's so cool to see someone giving back in the ways that you can. You don't see that often because a lot of people don't want to be controversial, which to me is crazy because what's controversial about saving children? But we talked earlier and you were saying you lose followers over it. And if you compare our followers to other people who don't really get personal, there's a really big difference.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I guess what got you into that specifically, and what was it a conscious decision to start advocating for it, or you just feel like you had to do it?
Okay, so I read this article. I read this article about this little girl, and she looked normal, obviously. She just looked like a little girl, and she was getting passed from one guy to a different one, and it was like an uncle to a dad. And it was trafficking. And that broke my heart because like it's happening right in front of you. And like just the statistics of it just drove me crazy. So I'm like, I have to like tell people around you are involved. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. That's what I wanted to get out.
So it just really tugged at your heartstrings.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, I got into a lot of research holes during 2020 because they just spent a lot of attention on trafficking in general during the campaigning. And the statistics are really scary, and then the content out there is really scary. So I think it's awesome that you're doing your part to try to help a really noble cause.
Thanks.
And then you're also very open about like your sobriety and then your issues in the while I guess you were shooting, right, during the I guess the down parts.
Yeah.
Do you want to kind of get into that a little bit?
Sure.
I actually never knew that you struggled with any of that. The only time I had heard, we were getting ready for AVN, and I think another performer, I'm not going to give her credit, but there was another performer that was kind of washed up, and she just started coming at you, and like she said, go take some more pills or something.
I remember that.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know that you were struggling, and then how shitty of this person to say that.
And I was 4 months out of my first treatment center when she said that to me.
Oh, wow.
So, and I had relapsed, so I was just like, oh, cool, thank you. I will, but I didn't. But it's just like nasty. I don't know. Yeah.
So was that an issue before you got into shooting, or was it? Yeah.
So my dad has the addict gene, and I have 2 brothers and a sister, and I'm the only one who got it. So it started when I was 14, and I drank my first shot of vodka, and I liked it, and I kept drinking. And it made me feel really good because I'd always felt like super different from everyone. Like, I can't relate to you. You know what I mean? And it made me feel good. Like, hey, look at me. Talk to me, you know? And then it just kept progressing to the point I was 15 on the floor of my school bathroom because of Xanax.
Wow.
It turned to that. And then it would stop, you know, it would be just sporadic stuff like that. And I would drink like a normal high school kid. And then it got super dark. Like 2012, I started using a lot, and prescription pills were my thing. And I would use alcohol to accentuate, that's not the right word, the feeling of it. So it just like I was numbing something, obviously. Sad. And when I think about me as a little girl, and I wish I could go back and be like, hey, you know. And so when I think about that, I think about like how vulnerable I was, and like that's also a thing for the children thing. Like, I keep rambling into different topics, but
no, you're fine.
Yeah, the whole thing of like being like having trauma as a child usually is a cause for addiction. I didn't have any trauma, I don't think. I think I was just weird. But yeah, alcohol made me feel normal, and then it filled a hole once I started porn. My relationship ended, obviously, and I felt very alone. So yeah, obviously drinking anything I could get my hands on at that point.